Hello friends, we are bigdatahandson.com, our website bigdatahandson.com. Today we are going to see random forest algorithm. Previously we have taken decision tree, k neighbors, and more algorithms we have seen. So all the videos you can find it in our YouTube channel. See here we are in day 21. So we are going to see random forest classifier and regressor. So all previous 20 videos you can watch in our YouTube channel bigdatahandson.com. So you can see we have uploaded the videos here. So if you subscribe to our channel you will get all the updates. So now today is the topic is a random forest algorithm. uh, let's jump into our algorithm. So the random forest algorithm is a supervised learning algorithm. Actually is based on the decision tree algorithm, and it's mainly used for classification. Okay, actually is a cart algorithm. Cart means classification and regression trees. So and as we know that a random forest, a forest is made of trees, right? So in the same way, in the random forest algorithm also we uses trees. Okay, we uses the decision trees and as an algorithms. We split this data into samples, and then we give the sample data to every trees, and then the every trees will give a final result. So the final result will be selected using the means of voting actually. Okay, so for example, if you have 10 trees on your random forest, the 10 trees will give 10 different results, right? So after getting the results, we find the best solution by means of voting. So that's what we do in a random forest. It is an ensemble method which is better than a single decision tree because it reduces the overfitting by averaging the result. Okay, so in decision tree usually we face overfitting. So let me first explain what is decision tree is. Quickly I will just we have the video also, so you can watch it. So I will just quickly tell you what is decision tree actually. So to explain the decision tree, I'm taking this example. We have a temperature, outlook, humidity, windy, played or not. These are the features we have. This played or not we are going to predict. So the output, the tree will be like this. For example, if you have output to feature, it starts from the output feature. In output feature we have three categories, right? Like sunny, overcast, rain. So this split into three categories, and then again it selected the attribute humidity, and it's put a condition like is it less than or equal to 75 or greater than 75, and then we are getting yes or no. Okay, so we have nodes are nothing but a split for a value of certain attributes. Okay, we are splitting the node, right? So this is a node, this also a node. Edges is nothing but outcome of a split, outcome of a split to next node. Okay, so this is the edges. Okay, so this also called a leaf nodes, and the starting attribute is that the node is called root node. Okay, and now the next is we have entropy. So entropy is nothing but a measure of impurity. So it will tell you whether I want to split this node or not, how I want to split the node. All this done by the entropy, because if you have a entropy a large value, then that means that is a impure node. So that means take outlook here. So outlook is an impure node. Why? Because it has three categories, so that it needs to split, right? So that's what the entropy measured. Okay, and after here in overcast you can see S4, but here the impurity is zero. So that's why it's not splitted again. So because we have a pure node here S4, so we don't want to split. But in the sunny and rain we have impure nodes like humidity and windy, so we are splitting based on the entropy value. So that's what the entropy measured. So entropy is the measure of impurity, disorder, or uncertainty in a bunch of examples. Entropy controls how a decision trees split the data. It actually affects how a decision tree draws its boundary. Okay, so the equation will be like this: summation of minus pi log base 2 minus pi. Okay, for example, if you want to measure the entropy of play golf, so in play golf you have two categories, yes and no. Yes, 9 times is there. No, we have 5 times. So the probability will be total we have 14. So 9 by 14 is the probability of yes, 5 by 14 is the probability of no. So we give the probability here and then minus the probability log base to probability. Okay, then after the value comes like 0.94. That means it has a huge impurity measure. So the play golf needs to be splitted. Okay, so that's what the entropy controls. And Gini index also the same measure, the measure of impurity, but it is better than entropy. It's because in entropy we have a log, right? So we are calculating log every time, so it will be slower than Gini index. So in Gini index we don't have any logs, just 1 minus summation of probability square. That's why. Okay, so these two are the controls the split of the tree. And now we have information gain. So information gain controls the selection of attribute. So if you see this tree, you can see how the decision tree selected outlook as the first attribute, the root node. Based on the information gain only, it selected the outlook. Okay, and then the next node, next attribute, what is selected? It is selected humidity, right? So humidity is the next attribute. So that means after the outlook, the humidity has the high information gain. Then again we have windy. Okay, so that's what the selection of attribute is controlled by the information gain. So the gain of t and comma x is entropy of t minus entropy of t comma x. So we have calculated the entropy of play golf, so that is 0.94, and then we want to calculate the entropy of outlook as well. So and then 0.94 minus 0.69 would be the information gain. The 0.274 is the information gain of outlook feature. So likewise we calculate the information gain for all other attributes. So you can see the gain of outlook is 0.24, gain of humidity is 0.15, temperature 0.2029, and wind is 0.049, and then it will sort it out. That's why it selected the outlook feature as the root node. Okay, and then humidity, and then windy, and then the last one is temperature. Okay, so that's what the decision tree is. So in random forest also we use the same decision trees, many decision trees. Okay, so the many decision trees will give many results. We select the best solution by means of voting. Okay, so working of random forest algorithm, first start with the selection of random samples from a given data set. So what it does actually, we don't give the whole data actually. For example, let's say this is our data here. So this data is split into, say, 5 parts. Okay, so my mic is problem actually. That's why. So now we have this data. Let's say I want to make five decision trees. So the data will split into five parts: one, two, and three. So the samples, these are the samples now. Okay, so the five parts is the samples now. The samples have, for example, if you have five features in your data, the first sample can have two features, or some the next sample may have three or four features. It's selected randomly. Okay, so the sample is selected randomly, right? Okay, so and then this sample, what happens, it's given to the decision tree, the first decision tree, and then this sample, the second decision tree. All the decision trees have different configurations. Okay, so there's a third decision tree, and then there's a fourth decision tree, and then there's the fifth decision tree, and then we have five decision trees now. These five decision trees gives different results. We have the first decision tree, second, third, fourth, fifth. So and then what happens is all the decision tree will give a different result. Okay, the results will be combined actually. We'll combine the results by means of voting. This will be our final result. Okay, for example, let's say the first decision tree gives a class 1, and the second decision tree gives class 0, third decision tree gives class 0, fourth decision tree class gives 1, fifth decision tree class gives 1. That means we have 3 votes for 1 and 3 votes for class 1, and then 2 votes for class 0. So the final result will be class 1, because that has the most voting. Okay, that's what is happening in the decision tree. Okay, and the decision tree has some pros and cons. Okay, so the following are the advantages of random forest. So it overcomes the problem of overfitting by averaging or combining the results of different decision tree. So as we know that, and random forests work well for large range of data items than a single decision tree does. Okay, because inside the random forest we are splitting the data into samples. If you have a large data, if you give a large data into a single decision tree, it will not work efficiently. So we split into a samples, and then we'll give multiple decision trees. Okay, so the multiple decision tree will give you multiple results, will combine the results. Okay, so that's why the random forests work well for a large range of data also. And then random forests are very flexible and possesses very high accuracy, and scaling of data does not required in random forest algorithm. It maintains good accuracy even after providing data without scaling, and without if the data is uh, okay, sorry, random forest algorithms maintain a good accuracy even a large proportion of data is missing. You have a missing data, or you have a categorical type of data, or you can have without scaling. So all this data can be work in the random forest algorithm, and it has some cons also, that is complexity. So the complexity, what is the complexity here is we are creating multiple decision tree. So it is very uh, harder, much harder than creating a single decision tree. Okay, constructing a random forest are much harder and time consuming than decision trees, and more computational resources are required to implement the random forest algorithm. And the prediction process using random forest is very time consuming in comparison with other algorithms. So the time and the complexity is the cons of random forest. Okay, so now it's all about random forest. We'll go to implementation. First let me open spider. So now let me create a new file. Save this file. Okay, here. Now first we'll import the libraries pandas, numpy as pd, and import the numpy library as np, and then we'll import matplotlib. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we need to read the data from the file, this the same data iris data. Actually we have visualized the decision tree yesterday for iris data. Let me read the file. Read csv, that's inside the data sets iris.csv. Okay, now let's select this line. So now we can see the data frame in variable explorer tab. So here we have five attributes. What is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and we have a class. This is what we are going to predict. Okay, and let me split the data x and y. So the first four columns are independent features. So let me choose from starting to fourth column, and we'll convert this to numpy arrays. and for y, data of class column is the dependent feature. Okay, so again we'll convert this to numpy arrays. Okay, so and then what we need to do is we need to split the data set into training and testing. Let me import the train test split function. Scalar dot model selection, import the train test split. Okay, this will return four values: x train x test, y train y test. And then we'll call the function x comma y, and we'll give the test size as 0.25, and then the random state equal to set to 10. Okay, so now let's run this. Okay, oh, we don't run these two lines. Okay, now we got the training and testing data, so it's time to build the model. So for every models we have a class inside the sklearn module. So now we have a random forest, right? So where is the random forest class? So the random forest class is inside a different module, that is ensemble. Inside the ensemble module we have random forest classifier, and for regression also we have. So you can see we have a random forest classifier and random forest regressor. So let me input random forest classifier first, and then we need to create a object for random forest. So it has some parameters. Let me see the parameters. What is the parameter here? You can press Ctrl I, it will show the help here. So the first parameter is n estimators. N estimator is the number of decision trees you can have. So the default is 10 decision trees. So you can have as your wish. And then the criteria, we know that we use Gini index or entropy. So the default is Gini index, and you can set the max depth, and there are some features, regularization features we have, and you can set the random state also, because the random forest classifier will give a different accuracies when you run many times. Okay, so that time you can set the random state, actually random state for creating the samples. Okay, so first let me give the number of estimators. So I'm going to have only 5 estimators, because these 5 estimators will 5 decision trees will visualize. Okay, so I don't want 10 decision trees, just 5 decision trees. Okay, and then what we need is we need criterion. Criterion is Gini index. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to fit the classifier into our training data, x train comma y train. So now it's fitted. So here If you type classifier dot estimators here in the estimators underscore, you can see the decision tree objects here. So we have, if you have 5 decision trees, so you have 5 decision tree objects here, so that has different random states, you can see here, right? So we have uh, 5 different decision trees. Okay, now we're going to predict. Y pred equal to classifier dot predict of x test data. Okay, now we got the prediction results. This is the predicted results. This is the actual one. This is the predicted one. Okay, so we can see confusion matrix for accuracy. So how many are correctly predicted, how many are wrong, incorrect predictions. So let me import the confusion matrix in the matrix module. We need to import confusion matrix, and well, let's call the confusion matrix. Here you need to give the sorry, y test and predicted result. Y test comma y pred. So you can see the confusion matrix here. So the same, only one incorrect prediction, because the data is like that. So that's why it is giving the same results for every algorithms. Okay, now we want to visualize the decision trees, right? So now we have 5 different decision trees. So we need to create 5 different dot files, right? So what I'm going to do is, instead of converting the dot files into converting via some websites, I'm going to use a library in Python library to instantly convert the dot files into PNGs. So for that, you need to have a software installed, that is GraphViz. Here you can download from graphviz.org/download. In the option you can see here, you can select for Linux. We have, so Linux, just simply this command sudo apt install GraphViz, or for Windows we have release installation packages. For Mac also we have. So let me install this. So the command is sudo apt install GraphViz. Okay, now here GraphViz is already the newest version, because I have already installed the GraphViz library. So to convert the dot files using Python code, we want a library for Python, that is py.plus. So we want to install that. So you need to open a terminal or command prompt in Windows, that is command prompt. Okay, after that you need to type pip install py.plus. Okay, now for me is pip3, for you it will be pip only. Okay, pip3 install py.plus. It will take some time to install. So now we'll continue to the programming. So now what we need is, we need to import the function called export graphviz from sklearn dot tree import export graphics function. Export graphics. This function is used to convert the decision trees into the dot formatted data. Okay, so we have now we have 5 decision trees, right? So each and every we need to convert the decision trees. So let's run a loop for number of estimators we have for I in range of number of estimators, that is ln of classifier dot estimators estimators underscore. So and then we'll pick the first decision tree from the classifier estimators. So we need to call the function export graphics, and here you need to give the decision tree. So the decision tree is inside the classifier dot estimators. Okay, and we'll give the index value, that is I. So if the I is 0, then it will select the first decision tree, and then I is 1, then select the second decision tree. Like that we'll select one by one. After that, the export graph is in function, you need to give some parameters, that is uh, you need to give the out file. No, we don't want the out file because we don't want to save the data into a file. Instead we want to export as a variable. For example, let's say dot underscore data. So in this variable it will store the dot data. Okay, and then what we need to give is we need to give the class underscore names. So the class names are the names Iris, Setosa, Virginica, Vesicolor. So we have Setosa and Vesicolor, and Virginica. Okay, so and then you need to give the feature names. Feature names are nothing but the column names. Feature names equal to, you need to give this list. The feature names are sepal and sepal width. This one you want to give here. Okay, now we want to give another parameter rounded equal to true. So the box will be rounded, and you want to give filled equal to true. It will fill some colors on the box. Okay, so now it will give the data dot data. Now we want to convert this dot data into the png file. So let me check whether it's installed or not. So okay, so it successfully installed the py.plus. Now we can import the library. Import py.plus. Okay, so after this we want to convert the data into a graph. Okay, so using the py.plus library, py.plus dot graph underscore from underscore dot underscore data. So here you want to give the dot data. Okay, now it will convert this into a graph. Now this graph we need to write as a png. Right, underscore png. We'll give the name as like tree uh, 1 or 2 like that. Percentage d we give dot png, and we'll format it with I. So it will create a tree 0 or tree 1, or you can say plus 1. Okay, so now let's run this program. If everything goes correct, then it will create 5 files here. Yeah, now we got the 5 trees. So the 5 trees, you can see it is different from other. Okay, first tree is like this. I will open the next tree also. So here you can see it is different from the first one, right? Because it is constructed using the samples only, that's why. Okay, now you can see the 5 decision trees. So let's see the first decision tree here. So now the decision tree start with petal width. So it has petal width, sepal length, and what it has, yeah, the two features only it has, that is sepal width, sepal length also. Okay, it has the 4 features: petal width, sepal length, petal length, and sepal width also. It has 4 columns. Now let's see this tree. It has petal width, petal length, sepal length, and that's it. It has 3 features, right? Sepal width it has, petal width it has. Okay, it also has the 4 features. Okay, not this one. Petal length, petal width, sepal width. So it has 3 features. Now it maybe have the 4 features. So this is how it is constructed actually. Randomly it will select the samples, and then it will construct the decision tree, and based on these decision trees it will uh, calculate the results, and then the final result will be means of voting. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so now we know that how to convert the dot formatted data into png using the py.plus library. Okay, now let's create a random forest for a regression type of data. Okay, now for this let me use the KC house data, or you can use Boston data also. KC, actually the KC house data is very large data. So let's see how the decision tree is handling the large data. So this is the data here. So we have more columns, right? So I'm going to give the whole data for decision tree. Let's see how it is uh, working on the large data. So this is the price column is the dependent variable, and then all other are independent features. Now all other columns, the independent features are not scaled. I'm going to give the data without scaling. Okay. So the second column, from the second column to last one, that are independent features, and the column called price is the dependent feature here. Okay. Okay, so we wait 0 1 2. Okay, sorry, actually it starts from 3 in the x variable. Okay, now we got the data and we want to split the data set, training and testing, and we'll create a random forest with let's say 10 decision trees. Okay, 10 decision trees now. Okay, not classifier actually, we need to use regressor. This time will be regressor. Now the criterion for regressor is not a Gini index or entropy. It will be MSE or MAE. That means mean squared error or mean absolute error. Okay, now we created. So now we got the prediction data. So this now is a regression type of results. Then we need to use R square score or mean squared error to calculate the error rates. So we need to import that in the metrics module. We need to import R2 score and mean squared error, and you can calculate the R2 score by calling the function R2 score and give the test data and prediction data. For MSC, the mean squared error. Okay, you can see now the R2 score is 0.86. Actually, previously I think we have used the cases house data on a different algorithm. I think maybe the polynomial. I think in the polynomial, I think not that is real estate. Mm, okay, we didn't use that. Yeah, in multiple linear regression we use the Casey House data. Let's see what's the result for the multiple linear regression. For the accuracy for multiple using multiple linear regression is 0.7. By using the random forest is 0.86. Actually, if you run the random forest again, it will give a different accuracy. Why? It's because it's randomly selecting the samples, right? So that's why the problem is. uh, so now that is 87, you can see. So previously 86, now 87. The reason is it's selecting randomly, so you can set the random state for random forest algorithm also. You can set the random underscore state, uh, set to 20. You can increase the accuracies also. So now the 86, you can tune the test size and random state parameter here. You can see the execution time is longer than other algorithms, right? Now we got 87. Keep it keep it 87. Okay, so we have set the random state equal 10, right? So now if you run again and again, the result will be the same one, you can see. So now you can see here 8787. If I run again, it will be the same result. Sorry. Okay, that's it for random state, random forest. You have any doubts? Any doubts? Actually, we can visualize the regression trees also. If you want, I can show you that. We need to change this feature names actually by this. We have many features, right? It will be a very big tree if you visualize that. So remove the class names. Now we can run this. It's taking long. So any doubts you have in the meantime, you can ask any doubts. I think it's a big tree, that's why it's taking a long time. Okay, no problem. No. Okay, so uh, so now we came to end. We are bigdatahandson.com, our website bigdatahandson.com. So this is our website. If you have any doubts, you can message us in this number 978988844, or you can send email to support@bigdatahandson.com. So all the previous videos will be uploaded in our YouTube channel bigdatahandson.com. If you subscribe to our channel, you will get all the updates. You can see these videos also for Python videos. For machine learning also we have. Okay, so let's see tomorrow. Bye.